Welcome to Nerdaties. Bitches.
No topic too absurd. No statement too asinine. No question too interesting. We are in full interview season now. Nerdities presents another Q&A. Hi, I'm Mike, as usual, joined by...
Justin.
And Joe.
And our guest this week is a fellow, very accomplished artist. Joe nearly busted a nut yesterday looking at his work. Uh, Dan Henk. And the complete title is Down Highways in the Dark, correct?
It's Down Highways in the Dark by Demons Driven.
All right. It's a mouthful, but
It is,
definitely
but
catchy.
it's an Alan Moore quote. So, like, who am I to like cut an Alan Moore quote?
Yeah, you don't just pick and choose. It's a full statement. So please explain to us and the listeners what it's all about.
So I got the rights back to my story, and I published it like 15 years ago, and but it's a story I've had forever. So I was like, I can really do it justice now because I've done all these seminars and had all this time since. So I spent like 60 hours rewriting it and adding more illustrations and everything, and I really put out a product that I'm proud of now. So it's kind of like it starts out with a whole like sort of sci-fi horror sort of Twilight Zone, Outer Limits sort of vibe to it, and then the second book is a collection of short stories but they're everything's kind of the same universe, so they kind of combine with the character from the first book, which is one story, and then I've written further books since then, and they all start to come together. But I like that kind of comic book consistency where everybody's like in the same continuity, the same universe. So I try and have it vibe without it being like one's dependent on the other. So what I have right now is that I have my early books that I've rewritten and re-released. And like I said, they're like kind of Twilight Zone inspired, Outer Limits, weird tales, Tales from the Crypt, that sort of thing. That's what really drives me, and that's what I put out. And I write them, and then I do illustrations too.
I fucking love an anthology. Anthologies are one of my favorite things because, well, this episode wasn't great. What about the next one? Ooh, this episode was great. Maybe the next one will be even better. But specifically, the thing that caught all of our attention is your work, your artwork. A very highly detailed style. In the book, it's a lot of black and white, but there's some color aspects too.
Well, I did oil painted covers for my books, but the interior is all comic book. I interviewed with DC Comics and Marvel Comics and Image Comics, and at the time I interviewed, it was actually the worst time to interview with them because it turns out like they were all on the verge of bankruptcy, so they wanted kind of their main characters like Superman, Batman, and stuff. That's not what I do. Like I was inspired by like Bernie Wrightson and like Wally Wood and all this and Ed Davis, all these people who did like the more off the cuff sort of House of Secrets type stuff. So I decided, I really enjoyed those pulp magazines like Doc Savage and The Shadow and stuff, and they always had like little drawings that brought the stories to life. I was like, why don't I do that? So that's where I went.
I too draw, and I tend to have gotten away from a hyper realistic style. I did a lot of photorealistic stuff like 10, 15 years ago because it's so demanding. I find that every piece like that, especially if you're trying to tell a story, not just doing like a portrait, takes up so much specific planning and layout. Do you agree? And if so, do you find that portion of the process really enjoyable?
Well, I'm probably a little bit OCD. So, like anything that I want to do, I feel like I'd be doing a disservice not to go like full force, 110% into it. What I have noticed is, like talking about that meticulous kind of boring stuff, is I've done some comic work since then. I'm not really into like storyboards where like this guy walks down a hallway, then he opens this door, then this is what he sees. It's like I love the splash pages, so I like a lot of action, and then I feel like because of my OCD, I have to like put in like a coherent background where like I bring in perspective and focus and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, a nice big Frazetta or Joe Kubert kind of scene.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Both huge influences on me too. Now, doing that much detailed stuff, do you ever just get the itch to do cartoony shit? Because for a while, I didn't like doing cartoony stuff. I didn't like the proportions. I didn't like the simplicity of it. But after jumping into it for a while, there is a massive challenge of making something cartoony really play. Do you ever fuck around with that?
Not really. Although I like when people pulled it off, but like even like when Bernie Wrightson, like some of the characters, especially with like jaw and stuff, he'd make it like a little cartoony. That
Yeah.
always bugged me a little bit. Like I like the John Taliban, sort of like I don't know, like Walter Simonson,
Mm,
the more realistic approach to stuff, and that's what really grabbed me. And like when I saw he would do that, or Kelly Jones, or something like that,
mm.
make it a little bit too cartoony. I was like, it works for them, but that's not what I want to do.
Yeah, I definitely understand that. Everybody has their own anima, their own thing that drives them. One of the pages that was in the Kickstarter really reminded me of Steve McNiven. Reminded me of something straight out of Old Man Logan with like the flowing grass. And there's nothing more annoying to me than trying to make grass look realistic. So, if for nothing else,
Thank you, thank you.
you say cosmic horror as a big influence in this. Cosmic horror has a big place in it. Uh, do you prefer like written or visual cosmic horror? I guess the question would be book or movie.
Probably the book, just because nobody is really like, all right, if it's Stanley Kubrick, I would trust him to capture it. Other than that, I feel like people just end up like taking shortcuts, and at least part of it becomes cheesy. Whereas if it's in written format, then there are more people, it seems like, are well versed to pull that off.
I, One of the descriptions I heard about making cosmic horror, and the big thing, especially like Lovecraft, was the descriptions being vague and detailed at the same time. So you're drawing it in your head. Is there like a challenge of, okay, people already have the impression of what these things should look like. I got to make the craziest looking version of this shit that I possibly can? Or are you just trying to make a quality image?
Well, initially, I would over describe stuff because I have a very clear vision of what I'm saying. But then one thing I learned over time, like I took a seminar from Stephen King, and they told me this, for instance, is that people visualize stuff in their head, and you don't want to over detail stuff and detract it from what they were envisioning, because maybe the story became more encompassing to them because they envisioned all this stuff, and then you put something else in, they're like, that's not what I was thinking. So, but I do have a clear vision in my head. So I've learned to like throw out little tidbits to really grab me without like trying to over detail it.
And you're also a tattoo artist, which is the thing that really attracted Joe. Joe, don't worry, Joe. We'll give you your standard 5 minutes to glow him. Don't worry, it's gonna happen. Uh, but you also do photorealistic, detailed tattooing, and that's
Yeah.
I've only got a couple of tattoos. I couldn't imagine being in a chair for that long. Like, do they play well into do they play well to each other? Because like that kind of tattooing, there's no room for error.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, your Universal Monster like piece is that side piece is insane, and like these back pieces are so detailed. Dude, those are epic.
Thank you. Yeah, what I find with tattoos, like I draw them all up before I do it on a person,
Mm.
and I don't like some people just grab a photo off of like Google or whatever, and they put through like a program like Ghostline, and they're like,
Mm.
okay, well that's it. I'm like, no, I want to play with it. I want to like make it mine. So I kind of like draw it up, and I highlight what I want to focus on. I try and do all that on paper first, so that when I go to the skin, I already know where I'm going with this.
Yeah. You've already done it. We already experienced it once. So like that's another thing that happens to me. Things that are tricky will pop up working on something. You're like, all right, I've penciled it out. I know what's going on. And when it comes time to ink, it's all decision making. You're like, shit, should I go left or right with this? Should I go thick or thin here? But you've already done it once, so you already know what decisions you have to make coming up.
Yeah, and to go with what you just said, as far as like when they do an oil painting, that is a problem because with the oil painting, I keep it a little bit more loose because I can. Because with the tattoo, if you make it too dark, you're fucked.
Yeah.
If you make it too dark in oil painting, okay, you just paint something lighter over top of it. So
Mm.
I'll be a little bit more loose with the oil painting, but sometimes that works against me. Like at one point I was trying to get like sci-fi covers from like Isaac Asimov and Analog Magazine, and I remember there was one painting I did, and I spent 80 hours working on it. And the problem is like once you paint something, you're like, well, it really should be changed, but I put so much effort into that. Maybe I'll try and conform the other stuff to it, and like it just all ends up being a mess. But long story short, it's better if you plan it out ahead of time.
Yeah, like especially with that level of detail, you can't just shoot from the hip with that kind of stuff.
Right.
Where was the next one? All right, yeah. So as we're recording this, we're right on the edge of Halloween, and we love talking like horror movies and stuff. And I'm willing to bet you're a horror movie guy. Uh, what are your go-to picks? I'd say movies, since we're big movie buffs here too.
I could probably list my top five. Like I'd have a
So
hard time listing my top one, but
hmm
top five, like The Shining, definitely that's probably my number one, The Shining. But I like Evil Dead 2. Evil Dead 2 is like a remake of Evil Dead 1 with a bigger budget. That's
I
all it
just
is.
Yeah,
I just rewatched that on Sunday.
I watched that again last week. I love to. I call it a remake sequel.
It's the original requel,
Yeah, it's a requel. Yeah,
A
it's a remake.
requel.
but done right. There's so
Yeah.
much, and it's such a tweak of everything. Like the way Ash goes from normal to crazy so slowly, and then just goes batshit in Army of Darkness. Like it's so well done, especially compared to the first one where he's kind of meh. But that's two.
So I liked John Carpenter's The Thing a lot. That's
Mhm.
really well done. The only thing that I criticized it on is when you see the alien spacecraft, you could tell that's a matte painting, and that didn't like, hold up well compared to like
Yeah.
modern technology. But the rest of the movie is amazing, especially like the special effects with the like realistic creatures and everything. I liked The Fly a lot. That was really good. Um, and I don't know. Let's see, because I have a whole bunch that I could recommend, but I don't know. Like maybe Martyrs. I don't know if you saw Martyrs. It was like a French horror movie. They made an American version that wasn't quite as good, but the French version of Martyrs is really good.
I've had it broken down for me. I've watched way too many like ranker lists and then watched an explanation for it. And I'm kind of bummed I didn't watch it myself, but there's also a part of me that's happy that like I just had the Cliff Notes. Because it sounds like it's one of those movies that makes you feel dirty afterwards, like Requiem for a Dream, where it's like, I never need to watch that again. I didn't need to watch it once.
I thought that was an awesome movie. Actually, I like
Yeah.
Direct Room.
I mean, it's incredible.
It's
I always
it's so well done. It's just yeah.
I always say if you showed 15-year-olds that and Train Spotting back to back, the drug problem in this world would
That
go
was
down
also a great
dramatically.
movie.
Yeah,
Mhm.
totally fucked up. Your first pick, though, I'm guessing it's your number one, was The Shining. How'd you
Right.
feel about Doctor Sleep? How'd you feel about Doctor Sleep?
I did think it was bad. It's like not nearly as good as The Shining,
Mm,
although it's kind of hard to beat Stanley Kubrick at like the top of his game.
Mhm.
But I
mm.
like Doctor Sleep.
I really feel like it's one of the best sequels ever because it keeps enough of the original to make sense that it's connected, but it's really its own thing in a lot of ways. Fucking Flanagan hits it out of the park almost every time.
Yeah, I thought it was a lot better than I anticipated. Like
Mm.
going to see it, I didn't think it'd be that good.
Uh, so like I'm guessing it is somewhere on your list too.
With Stephen King, it.
Yeah.
So the original version, the like TV movie version, is pretty good until they get to that like really fake spider at the end. And then I like the remake of it. I like the first movie. The second movie is like, yeah, it's all right.
Like so they got that kind of prequel coming out. How you feeling about that? Because I'm kind of iffy.
I don't know. Like another movie that I thought was like it's not in my top five, but I liked was The Toxic Avenger. I know they have a remake of that coming out. So I don't know. I mean, I have to see. You know, like, some of the remakes are horrible. Like The Fly's a remake. It was awesome.
Yeah,
They made a remake of RoboCop, and that was horrible.
I actually, yeah, Joe hates it.
I hate the
Just like
remake of RoboCop. Hate it.
I actually kind of respect part of it because we get into remakes on here all the time, and it's like if you're going to do a remake, like change something significant about it. Make a left turn where they made a right. And I think like keeping his family involved was a pretty cool idea. Like keeping him the person he was instead of trying to wipe him clean. I think that was a cool idea. But it was just too modern most of the time.
But
And
how
that black
stupid was that human hand? The human hand of the robot scene. I mean, come on.
To me, all the action scenes were shown in the trailer. The movie was so just. I thought it was boring. I'm just like the original was so classic, and
Notice you use the word classic and not good.
it's great.
it's
The
good.
original is
Yeah,
great.
the original one's great. Yeah,
I've seen it like 25 times.
It's,
Keeps getting better.
the
It's a
scene,
a product of its fucking time.
his death scene still holds up.
But
But
with the exception of the headshot.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
Rob Bottin's work looked great in the 80s. It doesn't quite 2025.
You know, originally that movie was rated X, and Paul Verhoeven, when he filmed it, it was like, we don't have enough time to sympathize with the character, so I'll just have him killed so brutally. You'll be like, this poor fucking guy. And
Yeah.
he did that, and they said, no, not X. So they kept cutting it, and finally made an R.
Yeah, in the documentary, it's something about like the angle of his head when the shot happens, or like how many pumps of blood comes out, where there was just like, okay, yeah, now it's an R. But another reason the MPAA is one of the worst organizations to ever exist. Bunch of arbitrary pearl clutching pricks.
yeah.
Well, flop just make a movie.
Dan, what's your? I'm looking at your tattoos. What is your favorite tattoo you've ever done?
That I've done or that I have on me?
Either
Yeah.
or, yeah.
The my favorite that I have on me is I have a Lovecraft thing on my side, and the guy who did that is kind of a piece of shit, but the piece is awesome. It's like H.P. Lovecraft and a bunch of other stuff. It's very well done. Although the guy is, like I said, kind of a piece of shit. But as far as what I've done, I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say. It's like I know my girl's favorite piece is that Universal Monsters rare piece I did. She's really jealous of that. But
Your Lon Chaney Jr. is so detailed. Like it looks like the movie poster. Like I'm blown away by how detailed that is.
I really like the Judge Dredd back piece that I did. And that photograph is after 4 years of age. So I feel like I really I feel like I did a really good job. If it held up 4 years later, it still looks brand new.
Yeah, it does. The colors, yeah. After 4 years, those colors really hold up. Like wow. Now,
Right. Well, if this was a tattoo show, I could go into why it held up and why it didn't. There are a lot of different things that people do that I've been tattooing 25 years now. So you learn over time what works better.
I had when I lived out in San Diego. I had a friend who was a guest artist at Tower Tattoo in North Park.
Okay.
Because the guy he was subbing for was out surfing with Metallica in I forgot some country. So the guy
Look at Joe Drubble double name dropping.
So the guy who did my tattoo, Mitch, who's local here, came out there and we were hanging out with him, and he was just tattooing this like crazy white tiger coming out of these flames just on the apprentice's his
Nutsack?
calf. It was insane.
That would be pretty cool balding too.
Yeah. That one piece you did at a show?
What? Which one?
You said was it the Universal Monster piece? You said you did that at a show
No, I
or
didn't do
for a
that
show?
show. Yeah. There
Okay.
are pieces I've done at shows, and some of those I really like. Like I did the Pinhead. If you saw the color Pinhead, I did that one. I did at a convention in the United Kingdom, I think. Yeah, in the United Kingdom.
That's mind blowing to me. Doing a photorealistic piece at a convention because like high pressure and it seems like a quick turnaround. You'd have to charge a lot for that because that's a lot of time, a lot of focus. You can't do a ton of those at a show.
Um, I do about one a day. So like I'll book it up. It'll be like between 6 and 8 hour piece.
Yeah.
Damn.
I think 2 hours would be my max. I think my chest was about an hour and a half, 2 hours, and everything was fine up until he got to the collarbone. Where's that? Yeah, like
That always hurts.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, there. I almost tapped out, but there was only like 10 minutes left. I was like, you be a man, just be a fucking man. Pain don't hurt.
My part was right at the top of the shoulder blade. He pressed so hard on the outline. I was just like, oh, right there.
Crying.
But
You could say you cried.
no, I didn't cry,
can't-
but it was. I held my own, but man, I was so happy when he started shading.
It's okay. Just because they're like not whimpering, you're still crying. You can admit it, Joe. Like everybody cries. Crying lets the hurt out of you.
No, I want another one now.
There's
Yeah,
one guy
I'm-
who's tattooing, and his buddy looks at me, and he looks at his buddy. He goes, "Hey, I'm not gay, but can you hold my hand?" And his buddy looks at me. I'm like, "Dude, I have nothing to do with this."
He didn't ask me, bro. You answer. Yay or nay. So we don't have too much time left. I want to bring it back around to the book, though. I'd like you to repeat the title because I have the first half written down, but my fingers aren't that quick. I couldn't write down the second
I
half.
also wanna-
Joe, you want to do it?
Oh, no, I want to congratulate you. You did reach I just read on your Kickstarter. You did hit your goal.
Thank you.
No, so
That
we
was
help.
just
It's just
this
crazy.
morning, by the way.
Nice.
Awesome.
Congrats.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we help you get over 1,000. Yeah,
Yeah,
fingers
awesome. Well,
Uh,
fingers crossed. Yeah.
crossed. So it's Down Highways in the Dark.
By Demons Driven.
Okay, by Demons Driven. I'll never remember.
The
it.
Alan Moore quote is a Swamp Thing comic, and it says,
Mm.
"The small fight she goes, harsh words forgiven, down highways in the dark by demons driven." And that's
That does sound
after Uncle Arcane like does all this like creepy, horrible stuff, and they think he's gone, but he's not.
That sounds like an Aussie
That's
lyric.
so cool.
So it's definitely. So anything else, Joe? TikTok in here.
Well, I see. Well, bring it back to the Kickstarter. So, your Kickstarter ends November 7th. What is next on your horizon? But like, what's next for you?
Way to interview, Joe. Way to produce too.
Well, I'm doing like I said, all my books are kind of like I described it as like Mad Max the Road Warrior. Like you don't have to read one to read the other one, but it gives you a little more backstory.
Mhm.
So I'm working on a sequel to so Black Seas Infinity and Down Highways in Dark, they kind of like bring the story forward, but then I have a third book called The End of the World that like kind of combines the elements of those two books in one. And then I'm doing a fourth one, which is kind of like a direct sequel to that. And I haven't named it yet.
Where do you go after the end of the world? The rebirth?
Well, they kind of go through a Stargate, so it's like they're not even in the world anymore.
Okay.
Teleportation, monsters. Classic cosmic horror.
So we're in New Jersey, and we always ask this question.
Oh yeah, good, Joe. Good remember.
Yep. Favorite pizza?
That's not the question, Joe.
What's the question? I lead it. It's usually me who doesn't ask this question.
The lead-in question is, how important is pizza in your life?
There we go.
That's the Jersey question.
It's really not. I hate to lay you down, but it's really not. I rarely eat carbs. I mainly eat like fish and like salads and stuff. So, but I lived in Texas for 3 years, so I love barbecue. That's what like my weakness. I love barbecue.
It's a rare answer. Pizza, I thought pizza was fairly universal, but every once in a while you run into somebody who just does not give a shit.
You put barbecue in front of me though.
Yeah, but barbecue is great.
Ugh.
Like brisket, yeah, you can't beat Texas barbecue.
Nice dry rub. Ah, nice dry rub.
I
You got to
love
sauce it.
barbecue,
There's
man.
something wrong with it. Yeah. Oh, I have some mesquite Pringles left.
Although
Not
I will
even
say one
close.
thing about pizza, like so New York pizza, like by the slice, thin crust is way different than everywhere else. Like it's way better. Like I was in the UK and it was late. It was after convention. All the stores closed like at 10 o'clock. So it was like, how can I get food? Okay, well I went to a like one of those gyro stands, and they have good gyros, but like for some reason they had pizza there. Do not eat pizza from a gyro stand in the UK. It's the worst fucking pizza I've ever had.
Words of wisdom. Could have just toasted up some Elios.
So your website is danhenk.com.
Right.
Let's see, there was something else I saw. There was a couple of events you were doing. Do you have any coming up? I didn't see any.
Yeah, I'm leaving this weekend. I'm doing the Dead Man's Hand convention. It's in Albany, New York. And every year I usually do like the Austin Tattoo Convention. I do KillerCon, also in Austin. I do the Dallas, Texas Readers Con. So I did a few.
You ever do the Wildwood Tattoo Convention? That's close to us.
No, I did. I used to do a number in Jersey. There was a Visionary Arts Fest. It was in Jersey. There was one at the Meadowlands. I do that.
Okay.
No, Joe, you can't get a giant back piece from him just yet.
Dude, I would totally
Just
get.
yet.
I would totally.
Well,
get
I am in New
Frankenstein
York.
What's it going to be? Who's it going to be on your back?
Dude, I would. Well, I don't know.
Me.
I don't know if I could do the back, but I definitely my other arm. I would totally love to like one of the Universal monsters, maybe like Frankenstein or, you know.
What if it's Beth's face with like Bride of Frankenstein hair coming off? You think that would work?
She would kill me.
Or love it.
No, she wouldn't.
Just make it part of your BDSM. Just keep smacking it the night you get it. We're convinced they're pervs. He's too demure, and we just have not asked her yet.
He won't let me.
Yeah.
Every
He keeps his headphones on.
every time I try to get her in the room, he's just like, no.
That's why headphones
I mean,
are on.
I message her directly.
No.
So I'm pretty sure we're just a boot out of time, right?
Yeah.
All right, danhank.com, just a boot. Every once in a while, my non-existent Canadian comes out. Watch too much Letterkenny.
Does your head flip?
No hockey hair. Well, the front's not bad. I don't know. It kind of looks like Hitler Youth. Like, I'm holding off until late November, right before our wedding. We're getting a haircut.
Same.
Until then, it's gonna be a mess and a half. Thanks for having us. Thanks for coming on. That's the sentence I wanted to say.
We
Thanks for
normally
having
don't
us
do
on
this
you.
on this day, so
We don't usually do interviews at 9. We usually start like we tried to do the first time around 7:30 ish. Usually we're kind of loopy by 9 p.m.
Yeah. This is when we fall off.
Yeah. This is the most energy I've had at 9:30 ish in 20 years. But thanks for your time, man. I hope we help out. Hope you get some eyes on the Kickstarter that technically doesn't need it, but there's never too many commitments.
Oh, of course. Yeah, and thanks for having me, and sorry about yesterday.
you're all good, Dan. Thank you for coming.
Technology happens.
I was
constantly.
having modem problems before we even started. That's why I didn't get into the room right away. Fucking Comcast bullshit.
Fucking Comcast.
I think that's their LLC name.
Fucking Comcast.
Okay.
Fucking Comcast. So, okay. To everyone else listening, Standard Nerdities goodbye. It's not a standard goodbye. It's a fuck bye. It's a classic of ours. My idiot brother.
Fuck bye.
Fuck bye.
You can throw it in if you want.